Is it? Yes, it's working. Good morning, everyone. Glad to have you here at our facility. We are thankful to God for the blessings that people like yourselves have offered to people like us in our distress. We have one of the oldest churches in Frederick County. I think we are the oldest African American church in the city. And I think after 2011, we had an earthquake. I don't know if any of you all remember that. And I think we got a little shaken up. And our bricks has been shaking and carrying on. So we have had an experience. It has been an awful undertaking to get funding. And people like yourself, we are appreciative of you and how we have gotten funds through you to help us in the process of putting Quinn back together. But not only that, you have helped so many people in the state of Maryland. We salute you. We have them a little technical here, and they asked me to come up and open up things. So I think what I'm going to do is have a word of prayer. Again, I wanted to say to you how much we appreciate what you do not only for us and what you have done for other people along the way. Father, it is so good to be in your presence today. We ask you, Lord, to send your anointing upon us in all the deliberations and all that goes forth here today, that you will be involved in blessing it so that it might be to the glory of your name. We appreciate you. We thank you. We adore you. We ask now, Lord, in crisis times such as which we are facing in the nation and in the world, we ask you continue to bless all of us that we might, Lord, be strengthened and guided by your principles and your love. So send your anointing upon this meeting, upon this time, and that others who have come today will find information that will be helpful in helping them restore and to keep history alive. And we thank you for what you're doing for people. This commission is doing for people all over the state of Maryland and anywhere they may have their hands involved in helping others to be restored. So God, we give you thanks and praise in Jesus' name. And as it go forth, we pray that all things work out to the glory of God. Amen. Amen. Now, I don't think they're still ready. So we're going to take up the offering right now. I know you were waiting for that, but unfortunately the ushers didn't come, so we'll have to postpone it. So I'm going to ask Sister Kennedy if she would come and sing a song for us today. Oh. But I think she told me no, so all right. I'm going to actually turn this back into your hands, and you all can do whatever you have to do. But thank you again on behalf of Quinn Chapel and on behalf of all the people that you assist in like fashion as you have helped us. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture public meeting scheduled for today, Monday, April the 7th, 2025, here at the Quinn Chapel Christian Life Center at 132 East 4th Street, Frederick, Maryland, 21701. And at this time, we are going to have our call to order, and it is as follows. Chair Maya Davis.
Thank you, President.
Thank you. Vice Chair Khalid Aset Amen.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Rochelle Adams.
Present.
Commissioner Lori Bradford. Commissioner H. Russell Frisbee. Commissioner Walter Gill. Present. Commissioner Bridget Felicia Jones-Smith.
Excuse.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Janice Curtis Green.
Excuse.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Philip J. Merrill. Commissioner Jalen Money.
Present.
Commissioner Brian Morrison.
Present.
Commissioner Barbara Paycott.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Robert Patterson.
Excused.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Ada Pinkston.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Reverend Alethea Rosalind Smith Withers. Commissioner Hakeem Tajani. Commissioner Reggie Turner.
Present.
Commissioner Eleanor Thompson. Commissioner Kennedi Wilson.
Present.
And Commissioner Wellesley Wood. To our chair, vice chair, commissioners, and public at large, the notice for our public meeting for today was placed on our commission website, as well as the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum website, and it was sent to the local and national syndicates for today. And at this time, I'm going to turn this meeting over to the powerful and wonderful and capable hands of our leader, Chair Maya Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Herbert. I greatly appreciate it. Well, thank you all so much for coming out today. I just want to say thank you to the Quinn Chapel Church. I want to say thank you to Liz Chateau and Emily Huebner with the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Trails. And then also Mr. Thaddeus Goodman. I haven't met him yet in person, but I know he's here. Hello, Mr. Goodman. Thank you for making this arrangement for us. We so appreciate it. And thank you to the minister of this church. I think I want to come to your service. You know, when you get a minister who can preach the word and make us laugh, I'm definitely there every time. So I so appreciate it. I will not spend a lot of time doing the welcome because I really want to give an opportunity for our newer commissioners to represent their communities. And I'm so thankful to Commissioner Kennedi Wilson and also Commissioner Reggie Turner, who represent Western Maryland. Reggie's coming from Washington County, Kennedi from Frederick, and a number of us will be turning over. And so I think it's very important as we go out into these communities that you put a name and a face together so that you know who's representing you. And if you have any issues or concerns or interests related to African American history and culture, this is your person that you should reach out to. So I'm going to turn it over to Kennedi to do her welcome, and then we'll proceed with the program.
Thank you, Chair Davis. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This is important and very, I'm very glad to see some of my mentors and people in the community in the room, so I appreciate you for coming. Because it's been a while since Frederick has had a representative, I want to ensure that everyone kind of knows what the commission is, what it's about, what we do. So the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture is committed to discovering, documenting, preserving, collecting, and promoting Maryland's African American heritage. Through the accomplishment of this mission, the MCAAHC seeks to educate Maryland citizens and visitors to our state about the significance of the African American experience in Maryland. So again, thank you for being here. That is what we do. So please, if you have any interest, like Chair Davis said, I am your representative. I can be reached. Ms. Rose, as you know, you can reach me anytime. So thank you again.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. And at this time, I would like to put forth a call for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? It's probably been moved and seconded. Do you have a question? Okay. Okay. Please make your correction for the record. And can you, 1 second, Commissioner Gill, we're going to turn the microphone on so we can catch that.
Commissioner Walter Gill, it's on the first page regarding a correction regarding the minutes. Commissioner Brian Morrison, host of public meeting, he was not a host. He was just asked to give welcoming remarks.
Thank you so much for that. And at this time, I would like to also welcome Commissioner Wellesley Wood and add for the record that he is present. So with that, we will make that amendment to the minutes. I need a new motion for the accepted. Thank you. Moved by Vice Chair Collier, said amen. And a second by Commissioner Rochelle Adams. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, we'll move forward. Thank you. So at this time, we will have Commissioner Kennedi Wilson introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you, Chair Davis. We are at Quinn Chapel AME Church. Quinn Chapel AME is one of the oldest sanctuaries in the long and cherished history of the AME Church. It houses a congregation that has been in existence since the 1790s. Church records show that the history of the church dates back to 1800. However, a more extensive review of the public county documents suggested that the history began in the 1790s when a bold move for equality led the formation of the Bethel congregation in Frederick, Maryland. The church was renamed Quinn Chapel AME in 1835 in honor of William Paul Quinn, the fourth bishop of the AME Church. The lower level of the church was used as a hospital during the Civil War, treating soldiers wounded in the Battle of Monocacy, and as a safe house for the Underground Railroad in the 1850s. The church also served as the first school for colored people in Frederick soon after the Civil War. Approved as one of the historic churches of Frederick in the National Registry of 1973 and 1988, Quinn Chapel is a major part of Frederick history. So with this historical background, Quinn was a 2024 recipient of the African American Heritage Preservation Program, or known as the AAHPP grant. So please applaud as we welcome Deacon and Grants Coordinator, Thaddis Goodman.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Thaddis William, and I want to say thank you. Oh, I have to say.
Just press the button.
It's recommended. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good. Chairman Davis, Vice Chairman Armand, Executive Director Compton Johnson, and all the members of the commission. And I especially want to thank Kiki Wilson and Reggie Turner for their support, and everyone in this room who helped support us get the 2024 grant. We have been working on this for quite a while. And as Commissioner Wilson stated, the history of Quinn Chapel is absolutely incredible. It dates back to the 1790s, as we were told. We became an official congregation in 1800 under the Bethel congregation. In 1835, the name was changed to Quinn Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church, primarily because of the work that Reverend, I should say, Quinn had done throughout the circuit. He was one of those people they called the Four Horsemen in the AME Church. He was responsible for the westward expansion of African Methodism. And he served here in 1817. Quinn Chapel boasts two bishops from this church. William Paul Quinn, who became the bishop in 1844 and became senior bishop of the entire AME Church in 1848. And Benjamin Tucker Tanner, who became bishop in 1889. Benjamin Tucker Tanner was here during the Civil War, and he was, his son became one of the great artists of our time. He has paintings at the Louvre in France. He has paintings in Luxembourg. And he was one of the great artists of the 18th, 19th century. So we are proud of our history here. Now, the reason we needed the grant so badly was because in 1923, we built the bell tower in front of the church, and the bell tower now is in disrepair. And this grant will help us tremendously going forward. We were also able to be the recipients of a second grant for $500,000 from the National Trust. So we are well on our way to going forward with what we need to do to restore our very, very, very historic church. And you helped us and are helping us tremendously. So we thank you, God bless you, and keep you. Amen.
Thank you for that, Mr. Thaddeus. I'm like, I had to lean over to the vice chair because literally on Saturday, I went to a book signing for Dr. Cheryl LaRoche's new book on Bishop Paul Quinn. So I'm just like, this is such a momentous moment. I'm feeling a vibrancy and connection here. And really so interested in that history and hope that, more people will come out and visit places like churches to learn about their history and not just only depend on museums and cultural heritage centers, because this is really the root of where our history is connected. At this time, we're going to move into our commission reports for our committees, and I will start with the chair's report. I do want to report on House Bill 1010, which is sponsored by Speaker of the House, Delegate Adrian Jones, and it is the grant to establish a non-capital grant. We currently have capital grant funding, and we are actually in the stage where the governor is about to sign this bill. It has passed both the House and the Senate, and we're really excited about that. We did do it as a budget neutral bill, and so we do not have funding at this time, but we will be able to raise public, private, and state funds, so we're really excited about that. And that will give us an opportunity to do programming and exhibition funding and things like that. So be on the lookout for that, and we thank all communities across the state who may have come out and wrote a letter of support or came out to just speak on our behalf. We really appreciate it. In addition, I do want to talk for a minute with our commissioners about the survey that was completed through our strategic planning. Let me just pull this up. In terms of the survey participation, we had 21 respondents out of a total of 44, which is a 48% response rate, which is pretty good. From the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum staff, there were 12 respondents. That's almost 100%. And then from the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture, we had 9 respondents. The outreach list consisted of board members, commission members, museum staff, and the We Rise committee. There was a survey response presentation to align on the team's unique value and the audience that we serve. And I just kind of want to briefly share some of that feedback that was shared with us. The one question that's here is what makes us special? And it says, we are a team of historians, educators, and cultural organizers empowering Maryland's diverse African American communities by making our rich cultural heritage and contemporary contributions accessible, engaging, and inspiring. And these are like the result and the feedback from the survey. About us, what our word cloud tells us about our priorities and what we do. There's no apologies about it. We audaciously serve Maryland's African American communities first and foremost. We place significant value on our and the region's history, preserving, sharing, and preparing to safekeep. Despite our love for our physical space, staff and leadership are what make the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Art is a big piece of the puzzle, but we believe serving youth is our future. The target audiences that we serve are people that want to learn about Maryland's African American history, youth educators and students in the Mid-Atlantic region, emerging and established diasporic artists and creatives in the Mid-Atlantic. And where we want to focus. We want to focus on community engagement and outreach, educational programming, artistic expression and support, historical preservation and interpretation, improving operations and strategic decision-making, becoming advocates for our audiences, funding and resource development to support growth, improve collaboration and partnerships. Our delivered value are to nurture deep connections with African American communities across Maryland, make information accessible to the region's residents, visitors, students, and educators, lead innovation for sharing Maryland's African American histories and contemporary stories, maintain legacy by preserving the region's existing and incoming histories, meet the needs of preserving or sharing the histories of non-African American communities. And so we did create a little bit of a playlist, which I think is probably the most fun part of doing this work on the strategic planning. And some of the songs on there are McFadden and Whitehead's Ain't No Stopping Us Now. I know I can't see what song specifically because I see we have Erykah Badu, but I know Chanel selected Diana Ross, I'm Coming Out. And Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. So it is really a lot of work, and this has really been a great opportunity for the commission and the BDTM staff to really put our foot to the ground and think about like where we're headed and how we best serve communities like this. So with that, I want to conclude my report, but are there any questions or comments from our fellow commissioners before I move on? With that being said, we will move on to the director's report by our director, Chanel Compton-Johnson.
How's everybody doing? All right.
Give you a chance to.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you, sir. All right, y'all doing good? Yes. On this rainy day, came to shout out Black history. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, clap it up. I love it. All right, so I'll start my presentation, and I know we're doing hybrid for the first time today, so are we able to start to go on the presentation page? I'm sorry. Huh? Oh, I sent it to Mr. Herbert. I'm sorry. Well, you know what? I had some really pretty pictures I wanted to show you, but this is what I'm going to do. Talk amongst yourselves. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on, let me grab my phone. And I'm going to send it. But as I send it, so I'll show you the pretty pictures after my presentation, but I'm going to just give you an oral report. All right. Okay. So I just sent it to you, Ms. Lee. Oh, quick. All right. So we still doing good? Yeah. All right. So first of all, good morning. Esteemed commissioners, members of Quinn Chapel community, the staff of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, and supporters. As we begin today's presentation, I want to first express my sincere gratitude for each of you, the commissioner, staff, and the greater community for attending today's meeting. Your support of our agency makes our work possible and allows us to serve as Maryland's premier institution dedicated to preserving and celebrating African American heritage. Folks, if you follow us on social media, visit our exhibitions, or contribute to our mission, you become an essential part of honoring our shared legacy and writing this new chapter in the preservation and celebration of Black history. Do we all have Facebook? Yes. Yes, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. So I want to go on to there's a pretty pictures, slide 2 from my report. So these are our FY 2025 agency priorities. So you see, I'm just gonna read off the goals because I'd like to kind of anchor us and ground us in these priorities. Goal 1, strengthen the Commission's communications and engagement. Goal 2, strengthen the Commission committee support and engagement. You'll hear some really great committee reports later on in today's public meeting. Goal 3, complete our strategic planning process. Chair Davis gave a great report on where we are with that. Goal 4, increase audience engagement. Goal 5, audience engagement really by way through our agency that we operate, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Goal 5, establish FY 2025 legislative priorities. So one of those priorities was the passing of our non-capital African American Heritage Preservation Grant. We are awaiting the governor's signature on that grant program. We didn't request an appropriation because it's a difficult budget year, but we will be fundraising and advocating for funds for the next grant year. So that's exciting, right? Amen. Goal 6, improve the African American Heritage Preservation Program grant administrative capacity and engagement. Goal 7, complete the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, your state museum on Black history, art and culture, facility repairs and upgrades. So I'm thrilled to share with you our February and March achievements that align directly with our 7 strategic priorities for FY 2025. We've made significant progress in strengthening the Commission's communications and engagement, increasing audience participation, and advancing our facility improvements. As we move forward, these strategic goals continue to guide our strategic decision-making and resource allocation, ensuring that every initiative supports a broader mission and vision for our key resources, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum and the African American Preservation Grant Program. So next slide. All right, this is the best part, right? The Banneker-Douglass Museum visitation and programs. Well, one of the best parts. I'm thrilled to report exceptional engagement numbers for February and March. We've connected with nearly 40,000 people through in-person and digital channels, with over 2,300 visitors experiencing our museum firsthand. February, now if you missed this event, that's on you. But February's highlights include our Sacred Spaces opening, an innovative peace-building program with Annapolis High School, and our special BSU night that brought together 60 Black student unions leaders with 5 county high schools. March featured our successful Maryland Day Women's History Month program with sold-out tours highlighting groundbreaking Black Maryland women. Now, we just got out of Women's History Month, right? So we just amplifying Black women's history all year long, all right? And everything that we do. Specifically because we added Tubman to our name this year. So we're now known as the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, and we're dedicated to amplifying Tubman's history, her legacy, but also the contributions of Black women in the shaping of our state and nation. These impressive numbers were supported by our dedicated volunteer and docents who contributed 32 valuable hours enhancing every visitor's experience. Next slide. The AHPP grant program, our African American Heritage Preservation Program grant, continues to extend our impact throughout the state of Maryland. The FY 2026 grant round opened on March 30th and will close on June 30th. All FY 2025 awardees have completed their grant agreements, with many already in the procurement stage for architects and contractors. Our first webinar on March 24th attracted 40 attendees, and we're expanding our outreach with an in-person workshop scheduled in King County, Maryland on April 11th. This program remains vital, preserving African American heritage sites across the state. The African American Heritage Preservation Program grant stands as one of only 2 dedicated heritage preservation grants in the nation, specifically supporting African American historic sites, providing essential resources that many traditional funding sources overlook. This program not only preserves physical structures, but ensures that critical narratives of resistance, achievement, and community building remain accessible to future generations, serving as a tangible connection to our shared history. Next slide. All right. The centerpiece of our Black History Month celebration was the February 8th opening of Sacred Spaces, a groundbreaking solo exhibition by Maryland artist Jabari Jefferson. This is Jabari's first solo museum exhibition. Martina Dodd and her team Martinez, our curator of exhibits and collections, has curated a visitor experience of Jabari's artwork, photos, and archives from our collections that explore spiritual and cultural significance of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Jabari created new works of mixed media artworks and innovated augmented reality elements. Beyond sacred spaces, our collections team has been preparing for our May exhibit at the BWI Airport, Reflections of Maryland, Art, People, and Place. We'll showcase work by Maryland-based African-American artists exploring our state's diverse cultural and agricultural landscapes. We've also launched our new gallery guide training manual, developing a comprehensive 63-page training manual that provides in-depth information about our collection and permanent exhibition, Deep Roots, Rising Waters, a celebration of African Americans in Maryland. Next slide. Facilities and operations. Our historic building has received, now this building, if you don't know, you should know, is a National Preservation Site. It was built in 1874 by a congregation of African Americans, and it was the Black epicenter in the state's capital. It's a civil rights network for freedom site. It is an Underground Railroad network for freedom site as well. In 2006, we built our modern facility, and it really is an architectural marvel. It has deep history in civil rights activity, of community resistance, and of course, of activism. I mean, this church is a product of the Black resistance movement. In the 70s, because of the pressures of urban renewal, the county wanted to tear it down and turn it into a parking lot. But this commission that was legislated in '69, some say in reaction to Dr. King's assassination, they picketed, they slept in their cars in front of the church to prevent the county from tearing it down. They won national preservation status. And these individuals, these were civil rights leaders, these were educators, they were community leaders that believed that the preservation of Black history, the sharing of Black history is a tool for understanding our collective experiences, understanding democracy, and understanding the Black experience. Because how can you really hate someone if you know their history and culture? And how can you feel disempowered if you know you stand on the shoulders of greats? So 10 years later, we opened as the state's museum on African American history and culture. So, gotta say that. All right, so facilities. So we've made some improvement and maintenance upgrades to enhance both safety and accessibility. Recent improvements include repairs to the exterior railing of our historic church building and new railings in the altar area. Through our partnership with the Department of General Services, we've procured architectural services from Edwin and Cole for our upcoming capital repairs and renovations. These improvements ensure that our physical space continues to safely welcome visitors while honoring, in an innovative way, the historic significance of our history. While also successfully hosted 3 site rentals, yes, we do site rentals, expanding our community presence while generating additional support for our museum. Next slide. Our commitment to preserving as a community resource continues to grow through diverse programming and partnerships. Beyond our exhibitions, we're creating a meaningful engagement opportunities that transform our museum into a vibrant gathering place. These resources exemplify our role as both a cultural and historical repository and an active community hub that responds to the evolving needs of Maryland residents. So, on the administrative front, we are currently recruiting for several key positions that will strengthen our organizational capacity. These include, we are hiring a new CFO, summer interns for our marketing and communications department, and a processing archivist for the important Verda Welcome Collections project. These additions to our team will support our ambitious plans for the remainder of 2025 and beyond. I encourage commission members and members of the public to share these opportunities with qualified candidates in your network. Detailed information about these positions is available on our website, bdtmmuseum.maryland.gov/careers, and of course, on our LinkedIn page. I am particularly proud of our field trip stipends program sponsored by BG&E, which ensures that schools throughout Maryland can bring students to experience our museum regardless of financial constraints. During February and March, we welcome numerous student groups, including several that benefit from these stipends. The young people from Bowie, this is the photo, is of young people from Bowie State High School, which is Abiola, our education coordinator extraordinaire, your alma mater, correct? Love it. These visits create formative experiences that extend far beyond a field trip, a single field trip, often inspiring ongoing engagement with African American history. Thus far, we have hosted 20 docent tours during February and March. Next slide. Our after-school program at Robinwood Community Center in the neighborhood of Eastport, Annapolis, continues to thrive, providing meaningful engagement for our young people in Annapolis. Through hands-on creative activities and guided exploration of African American history, we're nurturing the next generation of cultural leaders and scholars. The program creates a safe, affirming space where children can develop artistic skills while deepening their connection to Maryland's rich African American heritage. This week, students enrolled in the program will take a 4-day trip to South Carolina for an arts and cultural exploration of the South Carolina Gullah Geechee culture. Next slide. Night of Sacred Sounds, this is our upcoming program. In solidarity with UNESCO's International Jazz Day, join the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum for a night of sacred sounds, an evening of jazz, the spoken word, a celebration of rhythm, soul, and inspiration featuring Kwaku Sumbri Quartet and Wesley Panama Watkins Jr. and the Count the Cost Band. This special fundraiser will support the museum's upcoming programming while honoring the rich cultural heritage of jazz and poetry, two art forms deeply rooted in the African diaspora. Set against the backdrop of the museum's Sacred Spaces exhibition, this event will explore the profound ties between spirituality, artistry, and the African diasporic experience, offering a night of reflection, joy, and community. Whether you're captivated by the rhythms of the drum, moved by the eloquence of poetry, or simply drawn to the warmth of shared moments, Night of Sacred Sounds promises to uplift your spirit and energize your soul. Tickets are on sale now. All right, commissioners, sell some tickets, okay? All right, folks, buy some tickets. All right. Next, we have Revisit, Reimagine Catalog. Yes, we publish scholarship. The exhibit catalog for Revisit, Reimagine is now available. The catalog features images from our previous exhibit, Revisit, Reimagine. It's full of amazing images by 13 DMV-based artists, as well as 6 insightful essays, a roundtable discussion, and select archival photos. This is their civil rights archive from the Afro-American Newspaper Archive. It is a phenomenal book of essays from some of our commissioners and scholars in the field of civil rights history and art as well. So that is on sale. Be sure to pick it up. Next slide. Sacred Spaces exhibition. So you know we're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4. We have an amazing bookstore, and our exhibit, Sacred Spaces, will be up until December 30th. The Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum showcases the work of Jabari Jefferson. This exhibit is really phenomenal, and it really has something for everyone. If you're a lover of the arts, come. If you're a lover of Black history, come. If you're a lover of technology, this is the exhibition for you. If you're a lover of architecture, it's such a great installation, material-based, multidisciplinary exhibition. So if you're on a date, if you're with your family, or if you're brunching with friends in Annapolis, definitely stop by. The Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum will also present interactive workshops, lectures, artist talks, and more throughout the year. These interpretive programs are not to be missed. So in closing, I first want to recognize the staff of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Coincidentally, they're all sitting in the same place. Roundabout, Ms. Jan Lee, Director of Marketing and Communications. Jan told me to tell you, follow us on social media. I mean, the items and interpretive programming that she does on a digital platform is really incredible. We have Martina Dodd, our Curator of Collections and Exhibitions. We have Sabria Hassan Esmail, Director of Programs and Exhibits. And we have Abiola Akintola, Education Coordinator. And of course, the man of the hour, Mr. LaRon Herbert, Administrative Manager for the Commission. These are the folks that really make things happen, the staff of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. And I do want to give a special shout out. I mean, we've had 32 hours of volunteer time, most of which was probably accomplished by Ms. Linda Paez, our volunteer at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Thank you for all of your work. So the success of our Black History Month and Women's History Month programming demonstrates that we can accomplish what we can accomplish when we work together with passion and purpose, even in challenging times. Despite the presidential administration's concerning budget cuts to cultural institutions and educational institutions, and the growing threats to our nation's preservation and sharing of Black history, our team, our staff, our commissioners and volunteers have shown remarkable resilience and dedication in the advancing of our mission. As we navigate these affronts to education, the arts, and equity, the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, the Maryland Commission on African American History and Culture remains steadfast in our commitment to authentically preserving and sharing Maryland's African American heritage. Our work has never been more crucial as we continue through 2025, honoring our legacy while creating innovative ways to support Maryland communities such as the Quinn Chapel Church and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And I really, just being here, I have to tell you, like, I am definitely the person who's like, let's get this meeting moving. We have to keep it moving. And sometimes I don't really take a moment to thank Chanel and her team. They really are an amazing team, as you can see from the things you saw on the screen. They go above and beyond. And as she said, they are open Tuesday to Saturday. They are all here on a Monday. This is not a work day for them, but they are really dedicated to working with communities, to supporting the commission and our mission. And I really just want to thank them personally for all of their hard work. And I was going to pose a question to ask how many people in the room had been to the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum, but I'm not going to ask that. What I am going to do is give a call to action to ask each of you to at least annually visit the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. And if you aren't able to, encourage people that you know to visit the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. As Chanel states every time so eloquently, we are the state's official African American Museum, which means we represent communities across the state of Maryland, including here in Western Maryland in Frederick County. And I think that we all know our history is under attack. And if we are seeing what is happening at the national level to our beloved National Museum of African American History and Culture, you can imagine the trickle-down effects to our smaller museums. And it is more critical now that we show our faces and walk through the doors of those spaces. And not just African American history and culture museums, but also churches, our historically Black colleges and universities. This is a time to really show up and show out and show that we are dedicated and not willing to let our history die. And also, and I would take it even a step further, if you have the means, think philanthropically about how you can give. I think about Barack Obama and his $5 campaign and what that did in terms of him making it to the American presidency. It is really critical. If you have a dime, if you have a nickel, if you have a dollar, give to your Black museums, your Black churches, and your Black schools. It is really critical. And I will end on that note and now move on to the next report, but I just wanted to say that. We, at this time, will go into the Finance Committee report, which will be given by Commissioner Reggie Turner.
Good morning, everyone. Excuse me, good afternoon. It is 12:02, so we're moving on. In regards to our finance report for fiscal year 25, we still have roughly about 26% of the budget left. We were appropriated $1.6 million for operational expenses. We have $422,860 remaining. Part of what Chanel has already reported, we have positions that we're recruiting for, which is our CFO, our grant specialist, and our archivist, which is a contracted position. Also, in regards to our capital budget, from fiscal year 23 through the Department of General Services, we were granted $75,000. There's a $10,500 balance that's remaining as of the beginning of this fiscal year. And from fiscal year 24 through the Department of General Services, we still have $3 million available in regards to that capital budget item. And lastly, I would just add this call to action. It has been my pleasure to represent Western Maryland for the last 8 years, including Frederick, and working with Arch to help them along with Mr. Key and Rose to do things. But I am leaving the commission after our next public meeting. So the call to action in regards to those to join and either chair the Finance Committee. So we do need some help in that area from some of our new commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Turner. At this time, I would just like to ask if any commissioners have any questions or comments. Okay. This is Commissioner Morrison.
The $3 million left over from 24, what's happening with that money?
Hello? Okay. So we are hiring a new CFO. We started drawing down from that $3 million with the repairs to the hardwood flooring. And we also signed our contract with the architectural firm this month that will be leading in the HVAC schedule of repairs, pretty much all of our major repairs within the $3 million budget. So we're actively drawing those funds down, but given our turnover in staffing, it wasn't reflected on this report.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions or comments? Thank you. So at this time, we will move over to the BDTM committee, which is led by Commissioner Ada Pinkston.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. The BDTM program committee consists of 3 subcommittees, including the Ancestral Remains, Cemetery Research and Preservation, Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award and Symposium, and the statewide book drive committee. So I'm just going to go down these 3 subcommittees right now. The Ancestral Remains, Cemetery Research and Preservation co-chairs are not here today, but they're Commissioners Eleanor Thompson and Janice Green, who, in collaboration with myself and Barbara Packer, have been doing a lot of work this fiscal year. So the mission of the committee is to collaborate with the Maryland Historical Trust, Maryland Archaeological Conservation Laboratory, and dissenting committees to establish a sacred burial ground for the ancestral remain of African descendants, currently held at the MAC Lab. In addition, another mission is to meet with dissenting communities to establish trust, transparency, and cooperation for how the ancestral remains should be honored and to discuss possible DNA testing. So there are 4 sites where African American human remains were found. And we've had a series of public workshops with descendant communities this past year. Another element of this subcommittee is to organize commemoration ceremonies for Veterans Day to honor U.S. colored troops. That's another piece of it. But since the last public meeting, we've had a meeting with the MAC Lab, and we have been in the process of confirming details for a June 7th reburial ceremony. Unfortunately, most of the funding that we received was from the IMLS, which is in process of being dismantled. So our next action item is to determine the best way to proceed, since this grant might not be available, and to figure out how to move forward despite this current state of federal politics, and how do we move forward and honor our ancestors. So our next meeting is April 10th, and we'll talk about ways to move forward without that federal funding. The Harriet Tubman Lifetime Achievement Award Subcommittee, the mission of that is to, I'm gonna list the Vice Chair Kalia Amin and myself are the co-chairs of this. The members are Eleanor Thompson, Janice Curtis Green, and former Commissioner Cheryl McLeod. The next meeting will be April 24th. To all the commissioners that are looking for something to do. And basically the purpose of this subcommittee is to encourage current commissioners to nominate women who, by their community work, exemplify the legacy of Harriet Ross Tubman, and to objectively evaluate nominees and select awardees, and to continue to refine the selection process. So we're at this point, it's every year we have this Lifetime Achievement Award celebration where we honor a person that exemplifies the work and legacy of Harriet Tubman. Like I said, April 24th is the next meeting. And then we also have a symposium subcommittee, and April 24th is that next meeting. So the symposium is about organizing the annual symposium and gathering for, how do we continue to uplift Black history in the state of Maryland. So April 24th is the next meeting for that. So if there are any commissioners that are looking to help us organize. And also I want to echo Chair Davis's statement about all the work that all the amazing staff at BDTM has been doing over the years. And we really want to make sure that we have more in place for the commission to support that work. So you'll see an email coming out from Mr. Laron with a document that includes a list of possible ways that you can support BDTM, including recruitment of a gallery guide or docents that are college age and up. Also, the staff at BDTM is looking for reviewers and editors to write feedback on gallery guides, writers for upcoming exhibition catalogs, and also looking for a group to facilitate connections between former commissioners or Mount Moriah congregation members to participate in this oral history project. Also looking for acquisition committee members, and looking for folks to generate a list of speakers for future programs, including this hidden figures and Afrofuturist concept that Ms. Sabria has organized this year. So check your emails, y'all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Pinkston. At this time, we will move forward with our Public Relations and Historical Committee report from Commissioner. I apologize. I'm Just one second, Commissioner Morrison. The subcommittee, the book drive committee, wants to make a report.
Thank you, Chair Davis. I did have a question for Commissioner Pinkston. What is the due date this year for submissions for the Harriet Tubman Award? Or TBD? Okay, thank you. So a lot has happened in the past 2 months. I'm going to try and get us all up to speed. We've been alluding to federal struggle, but also hopefully make you feel a bit uplifted with what's going on and the 2 months that we have till the end of the drive. So on March 14th, the United States Senate passed and the President signed a continuing resolution for fiscal year 25, which provided funding for the Institute of Museum and Library Services through September of this year. The very same evening, the President issued an executive order intending to dismantle the only federal agency dedicated to funding library services, as well as 6 other agencies. Cutting funding for libraries is an undercut of opportunity for all Americans. I'm just going to list a number of things that might be considered a part of that bucket. So early literacy development and grade level reading programs, summer reading programs for children, high-speed internet access, which is crucial in this part of the state as it is my own, employment assistance for job seekers, Braille and talking books for people with visual impairments, homework and research resources for students and faculty, veterans telehealth spaces equipped with technology and staff support, STEM programs, simulation equipment, and training for workforce development, and small business support for budding entrepreneurs. So this public meeting is really timely, and as of yesterday, we're starting the mark of National Library Week. So Chair Wilson and I are of the same mind on the commission's stance, and that is our nation's 125,000 public, school, academic, and special libraries deserve more, not less support. We're aware of the U.S. District Judge whose 40-page decision ruled that blocked enforcement of 2023 statewide regulations involving books that have undeniable political, artistic, literary, or scientific value that have been unconstitutionally applied in dozens, if not hundreds of situations in Iowa, continue to expand restriction. We're also aware of a Minnesota school relying upon a Florida-based website, booklooks.org, for book screening rather than actual librarians or teachers. The ACLU reports that 46 books have been banned in that district since this past December. We're also aware of Alabama Public Library Service Board of Trustees voting to withhold state funding from the library following complaints from conservative parents about books in the teen section. The board also voted to immediately dismiss the executive director of the state library agency who had already planned on resigning. We're aware of Texas lawmakers' attempts to make it a crime for librarians and teachers to provide books or learning materials with explicit content as valuable components of secondary education, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, irrespective of whether the title has educational or literary merit. What I am proud to share, though, is across several counties in this state, we're already up to several hundred donations for this year's book drive, which is a few hundred over what we were at last year. There's a ton of work to go in expanding to other counties. We've faced some resistance either from friends of library systems, library staff undergoing turnover with retirements happening at the executive director level, or just lack of email response. But those counties who we could possibly see some momentum through the end of this drive cycle are Charles County, Kent County, and Wicomico County. Developments that have happened since the last time that we met, if you have not already seen from the Maryland Center of the Book and Maryland Humanities, we have a One Maryland, One Book selection. On March 19th, both Carol Boston Weatherford and Jeffrey Boston Weatherford were selected for their title, Kin, Rooted in Hope. The theme for this year is what we collect and what we tell. So please visit the website to see when an event may be coming near you. You can also host an event for free. And pursuant every year, as a part of the cycle, the author, in this case duo, travel around the state to come see you. So please be in contact with Maryland Humanities about that. I know folks are pretty excited, and some of the locations that are featured in this publication of poems are the Chesapeake Bay, the Port of Oxford, Fort McHenry, Wye River, and the Wye Plantation House. Today is Sine Die. It's the last day of the 447th session of the Maryland General Assembly, and I just wanted to lift up 2 additional bills that were passed due to the advocacy of the Maryland Library Association and the Maryland Association of Public Library Administrators. The first of which is cross-listed as House Bill 678, Senate Bill 358, the Maryland Deaf Cultural Library Funding and Budget Submission Bill. It requires the governor to include an annual budget appropriation of $450,000 to the Maryland Deaf Culture Digital Library, and it also requires that library to submit its annual operating budget to the state agency on or before June 1st each year. The second of which is cross-listed as House Bill 415, Senate Bill 378. It's called the State Library Agency Family Literacy Pilot Program Establishment Bill. It establishes that pilot program administered by the state agency in consultation with the Correctional Education Council to foster and strengthen family relationships by enabling certain incarcerated individuals to read aloud to their children by preparing a recording of children's books. It also requires the state agency to submit a report to the Assembly on results of the program occurring on or before December 1st of 2028. So those are huge milestones for this Assembly, not to mention funding challenges in our own state. So if you know of a librarian, someone who works at a library, someone who volunteers at a library, please give them your support. They're really in need of that. There's an I Love My Library campaign happening nationally, but do show that love and respect to those who are local, living in your neighborhood or nearby. The last of 2 items here from our committee. One is a question I wanted to sit with the rest of the commissioners. What ideas, questions, or concerns around the critical need for equitable access to library and information services, resources, and technologies of all people are you seeing or hearing? Commissioner Wilson and I do our best to track what's happening in the state. We have lots of regions to cover, and we welcome your help, even if it's something you saw via Facebook post. We're happy to go through the comments and follow up with people, but the more eyes and ears, the better, and we certainly welcome the public in that manner. And the last of which, I always keep my library card on me, and I encourage others to pick up one too. There are all sorts of efforts happening in library systems around our state to make it easier to walk in the door, expand the amount of free resources available, and I just want to press us even beyond the libraries. The YMCA Chesapeake branch of the national organization has a number of adaptive reuse projects happening all across the country. And one that I wanted to lift up is occurring in Dorchester. So that site is servicing all of the public in Dorchester, even though it's based in Cambridge. And they're currently renovating former racquetball courts into a reading hub. The reason this is important is that Dorchester is one of the counties in the country rendered by Unite for Literacy as a book desert. So do be creative about the spaces that you could make for people to feel comfortable, for people to have intellectual freedom, and certainly to support the drive that the commission is running. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Money. At this time, are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, we will move forward with our Public Relations and Historical Committee report from Commissioner Brian Morrison.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
So our committee operates basically in 3 areas. In alignment with our #1 agency priority, increasing the communication and visibility of the commission, we have brought back the publication of the commission's newsletter, the Pendulum, sort of like a newsletter magazine, the Pendulum. We also operate in the space of public statements. We, as the voice of the commission, we're responsible for developing and reviewing public statements on a variety of issues that come to us, and also supporting causes from the community that we are solicited support for. So we investigate and work in that area. And we also, as a part of getting the voice out, we have a social media area as well. So the report will cover those 3 areas. The second issue of the revised Pendulum is due to be published. The report says April 17th. The actual date is April 21st. It's currently in publication. This issue focuses on Maryland's African American women and jazz, because we're quarterly. So we didn't have an issue come out during Women's History Month, so we're combining Jazz History Month and Women's History. And Vice Chair Amen has pinned something for us that we'll be looking forward to seeing in the upcoming issue on that theme. As always, we're looking forward to a letter from our chair that will be included as well. The due date for initial submission of articles was Friday, April the 4th. We'll have April the 4th. Our next issue, which will be coming out in July. Initial submissions are due by June 4th, so if anyone wants to submit something, please by June 4th. We also take submissions for events that are coming up throughout the year. So if you have any events that you want to submit, you can visit our website, and there's a link there where you can submit both article ideas as well as events that you're having in your community that you'd like for us to share in our Pendulum. We are still exploring avenues. The Pendulum is primarily distributed electronically. We do have limited numbers of print copies that we are looking to find sources of funding for to continue to produce. That's an ongoing process. I think that's it for our topics on the Pendulum. Public statements area. Commissioners have with us our first call to action written by Vice Chair Amen. And if we could just share, are there copies for the public that were placed out and available? No. So we can share our copies with the public for them to be able to see this call to action. And these are calls to action. As other commissioners have shared, we're in some very challenging times, and this call to action, again penned by Commissioner Amen, is a very cogent and passionate call for all citizens of goodwill to take action to address the challenges that we're currently facing. In light of what has already been mentioned about the ILMS cutbacks, Commissioner Amen again is in the process of penning another call to action on that, and that should be coming out soon. It's in the process of being reviewed. Within that, also underneath I'm putting this particular item under our public statements ideas. We have been charged with, and it was reported on in our last meeting, our committee has been charged with updating the Maryland Department of Transportation historical markers. And we are in the process now of identifying the 4 that we will be working on for this year. There are 54 markers specifically related to African American history and culture that have questionable language. The committee has been charged with reviewing that language and making recommendations for updating the language. We can also recommend new markers as well. But due to budgetary issues, the Maryland Department of Transportation can only update 4 per year. So the commission members should have received, all commission members should have received an email with the database for all 54 and the language. And our request is to submit to us your top 10, because we want all commissioners to have some voice and some say in which ones, in the order of priority, excuse me, that we address the markers. So if you can get those to us as soon as possible, that would be great. Our next meeting is on April 16th. Yeah, on April 16th, and we will be making a final decision on which four we'll be addressing for this year and moving forward with making the appropriate recommendations for the language changes. That's it on the markers. So as far as social media goes, Commissioner Wilson and I have been doing a yeoman's job of trying to maintain our social media presence, but we could certainly use someone to assist in that process. The Director of Marketing, Manager of Marketing, Ms. Lee has been extremely helpful in that area as well. Her and Ms. Cropper from the museum staff have been working very diligently with us on the HPR and Historical Committee, moving things forward. So I guess in conclusion, we're our action items in progress and pending our recruiting subcommittee chairs, still working on our committee budget. The April issue of the Pendulum is in progress. It will be published on the 21st. ILMS public statements in development, and we're working on the MDOT historical markers and identification process. That's in progress. Any questions?
I have a comment or two. Commissioner Walter Gill, representing Baltimore City. I have a comment regarding the post-election call to action. You will note that on the last page there's how everyone can support this critical work. And it's suggested that the community advocate for continued state-level support, engage local representatives, meaning politicians, stand by and support commissioners in other states. But it's very important that you engage the commissioners that are here. All commissioners represent counties or a particular part of the state or cities. As far as I'm concerned, you residents are the bread and butter of the commission. One of the purposes of the Pendulum is to reconnect with communities and neighborhoods. And to that end, I would like to start a mailing list for the Pendulum. Now, when you put your name down, please put your neighborhood organization down, put your church down, or your library, because the Pendulum should go to organizations, not to individuals. So if you would start that for me. And again, please know your commissioners. I think the Pendulum will do a lot to serve as a conduit for increased public meetings. And everyone should know who represents them. You know your politicians. Well, we commissioners, we work at a high calling because we're volunteers. We're here for the tender loving care of African American history and culture. Thank you.
Just to piggyback off of that fantastic report, I want to say my bad because I asked Mr. Herbert to print out the call to action, but I think it was miscommunication that we needed it for the public. So thank you, public, for sharing it. But you can go to our website. I mean, it's a pretty easy website, africanamerican.maryland.gov. And the PDF is here. And we can all agree that social media is an incredibly strong communications tool. I'm gonna give you all a call to action. Please share this statement, this toolkit for preserving Black history in these difficult times. Share it on your social media page. The grant program that's coming up, churches like this, I'm sure you have a big network online. Share the African American Heritage Preservation Grant. The deadline is July 30th. So make sure you share that. But please share the statement. I just want to thank Jan, our agency's communications director, for the work that she's doing around keeping these efforts online. In addition to print, keeping these efforts online.
Thank you so much. At this time, I do want, before I go to the African American Heritage Preservation Grant Report, I did notice that Commissioner Eleanor Thompson is online as attending the meeting as well. So just wanted to note that. But at this time, we will move forward with the African American Heritage Preservation Grant Report from Commissioner H. Russell Frisbee, who is online.
Commissioner Frisbee told me to give his report. I said a lot during, I included this section in my director's report, but just a reminder, the upcoming grant workshops will be April 11th in King County, and the second webinar for the AHPP program will be April 25th. I encourage you all to attend if you're looking to apply or reapply to the grant program. You can find out more information on the grant program, which will be $5 million to support African American heritage sites throughout the state of Maryland in FY 2026. So I encourage you all to attend. Again, africanamerican.maryland.gov. And all other items were included in my director's.
I also want to add that we will be recruiting for volunteer reviewers from the community to assess the grant applications that we have available. We think that this is a really important channel to have, to include your voices in the evaluation of the applications that come in. I think that information about becoming a reviewer is on the website. Is that correct?
Oh, to the coming of year? Not yet. It has to be mid-April. Mid-April?
In mid-April. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that. And that concludes our committee reports. At this point, we will move on to new business, which I will not prolong discussing the State of Maryland Department of Transportation signage, because I believe that Commissioner Brian Morrison has eloquently talked about that. But I will say it's important for our commissioners to really submit your feedback for that, because this is done within fiscal years, and as we're coming up towards the end of a fiscal year, I really want to make sure that we start to lean in and get the 4 signs complete on a year-by-year basis. There's 54. Can you imagine how many years we have to go? So just wanted to get that out there. So get your feedback to Commissioner Morrison and the Public Relations and Historical Committee sooner rather than later. I'm going to take this moment to say that as we've kind of heard how the IMLS has impacted our commission also holds a seat on the Maryland Lynching Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which has also been impacted by their Emmett Till Cold Case grant from the Department of Justice. And they did move forward with their public hearings, but they, I don't know how that means their report is going to be completed to submit to the General Assembly, and they are sunsetting. So I wanted to make sure that we know that a lot of our state commissions and bodies that have received federal funding are already being impacted by the changes to federal grants. So I'm putting that out there just so that everyone here is aware. And at this time, I want to move forward with the acknowledgement of public attendees. If Mr. Herbert can come in so that we can start to pass the microphone, and I'll ask everyone to give their name and their organization, please.
Thank you so much, Chair Davis. We have such a bright and wonderful group that has joined us today. Thank you so much for supporting our meeting. I'm going to take this mic and start in the back. We just ask that you give a couple, 30 seconds of who you are and who you represent so we can capture this great history today. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deanna Ali, and I am a member of the Quinn Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church.
restoration project, and we are a proud recipient of this grant, and we look forward to working with you all and preserving our beautiful church. So I have some of my other team members as well, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Good afternoon. I'm Patricia Penix. I've met so many of you as you were arriving. I'm happy to be here and to be a part of the committee at Quinn Chapel, who is very honored to receive the grant. So anything we can do to help you negotiate the rest of this meeting, we're willing to help. But thank you all for coming and gracing us with your presence.
Good afternoon. I'm Reverend William Wilson, part of the committee as well for Quinn Chapel, AME Church. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you all out here today to support the movement for preserving the black churches in the area. It's a commendable thing and something that's much needed because these churches have a lot of history, and we need to preserve that history as well as the structures that represent that history. So we thank you and appreciate you.
Hello everyone, my name is Tasha Parker. I'm the marketing coordinator from the communications team with Ms. Kennedi and staff member of the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum and the commission.
My name is Durwood Bush. I am founder and president of Dare to Be Different Ministries in Baltimore. I'm also a member of Quinn Chapel AME Church.
Good afternoon. I'm Olivia White. I'm the board chair for ARCH, and I'm happy to say that we are in the process of renovating a facility for which we are inviting all of you to be back in 2026 for our grand opening, and we certainly want to have more engagement with you. We have seasoned members here, much more seasoned than I am, not by age, but by experience, and certainly a level of commitment that's beyond, I think, all of us in this room. So I'm going to pass it on to one of our seasoned members.
Good afternoon, I'm Dee Jenkins, and I serve on the board of directors with ARCH. I guess I'm the feet of ARCH because I do all the local African American walking tours. And thank you all for hosting this event today.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Brown, just representing myself, I guess. And I do videos. I have done videos for ARCH, and I don't know, I'm very interested in Frederick, because I'm from here, and it's changing a lot, so I want to see that history preserved.
Again, I am Pastor Luke J. Robinson, and it is a privilege to be here at Quinn and to have you here with us today. And we thank God for the work you're doing and how we have been blessed in the process.
Good afternoon again. I'm Thaddis Goodman, and I am, I guess, the grant coordinator for Quinn Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church, and it's been a pleasure working with you over the years, and look forward to working with you some more.
Good afternoon. My name is Carol Penix. I am the vice chair of the trustee board here at Quinn Chapel. I'm also the restoration project manager.
Hi everyone, I'm Jan Lee. I'm the director of marketing communications. That's a hello. But while I have the mic, first of all, thank you so much for having us here. Just love learning about the history of Quinn Chapel. But also while I have the mic, we'd just love to get some photos of you all at the, towards the end of the meeting here. A group photo with the commissioners and the Quinn Chapel restoration team as well. So thank you.
Good afternoon. I am Sabria Hassan Ismail, and I am the director of programs at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Martina Dodd. I'm the curator of collections and exhibitions at the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Therese Ragland. I'm actually here representing the Human Relations Department of the Frederick County Government, and on behalf of the Office of Equity and Inclusion, we just kind of want to have a fingerprint on what's going on in Maryland, specifically towards what we are doing to preserve African American history, but also in moving forward to any discussions for reparations. as we are really working through that here in Frederick County. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to learn more about what you guys do and how we can be involved.
Good afternoon. My name is Bonnie Key. I sit on the board of directors for ARCH and on several of their other committees. I just want to thank you guys so much for being here and for being on our team. I was not aware of this commission, and I'm just so grateful that you guys are here and have our backs. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Rose Cheney. I'm a member of the board of ARCH, and we are glad that you're here in Frederick having a meeting, because that's just fantastic. And I also want to thank Reggie and Kennedy and Kiki for supporting us through the years, and it's been a long journey, but we appreciate you being here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Carol Ann Bush-Wright, and I represent St. Paul AME Church Dickerson, which is also located in Frederick County. Our church was established in 1886, and our current church building was built in 1916, and we are still worshiping there now. And thank you so very much for coming here today. I'm learning so much, and I'm taking notes, and don't worry, you'll be hearing from me. Thank you.
Actually, my wife is a public speaker. She just gave me that. I just want to say I applaud with you. My name is Walt Hamilton. My wife, Rose Donna. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, okay? I applaud what you guys are doing. Didn't know you existed, in this community. And this is a perfect time for what you're doing. All this talent here is something that I'm an old timer. I was born in 1950, grew up in Jim Crow. And to see a group of people, black and white, okay, uniting for a cause that we really need today. I really appreciate you guys. Amen.
Good afternoon, I'm Linda Paez. I want to echo what was just said about unity, except I'm even older than you are, so I take I'm here representing two different organizations. I've been volunteering with the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum for a couple of years and try to attend all of these meetings so I can make connections and learn more. I'm also here in a new capacity. I've been on the board of a group called the Goshen Farm Preservation Society for the last 2 years, and I finally was able to achieve one of my milestones. We just have created a brand new African American Heritage Committee. So I'll be contacting several of you about doing more research in that area. Goshen Farm goes back to the 1700s, and I'm anxious to get the stories told. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Janice Cropper, and I'm from Somerset County, Maryland, and I'm here today with my daughter, Thaddis Cropper. She said, Mom, you don't know, you might come bother me. You know what I'm saying? So, but there's a lot of history in Somerset County, so I am glad I'm here. I got to get my foot in this and my whole body in this. Yes, so much.
Everyone know. Abiola Akintola, Educational Coordinator for the Banneker-Douglass-Tubman Museum. In reference to the field trip grant that was mentioned earlier, if you know any educators that would like to visit the museum, but transportation costs are an issue, please see me later on.
I'm sorry. Good afternoon. My name is Donna Hamilton, and I'm here.
I'm in trouble.
I am here in support of Kennedi, Kiki Wilson. We were part of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Club when I was a lot younger, and she was a lot younger, and she was our youth advisor. And I had to come out to support her today and to let her know if any chance of anything I can do for you, please let me know.
I want to thank everyone for your introductions and your warm welcome to us. I have been tickled since you first called Miss Kennedi Wilson, Kiki Wilson. I was so tickled. She is now Commissioner Kiki Wilson.
Chair Davis.
But
I'd just like to take a moment to recognize our videographer who supports us at every meeting and program, Mr. Anthony Smoot. You can find his great work on our YouTube video and all. And Chair Davis, the great leadership has shared with us that they would like for the commission to first partake of the lunch, to take to the additional room for our special closed meeting, and that the public can get their lunch and come back here. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I will say, we do have a special closed meeting today, and we hope that we can still get an opportunity to, connect with you after that. And at this time, LaRon, I will let you, I'm sorry. I thought you were doing, I'm sorry. Commissioner Money will be issuing our special closed meeting statement.
Thank you, Chair Davis. Under the Open Meetings Act, General Provisions, Article 3-305, and with the statutory authority of Clause 9, we are proposing to move into closed meeting. Is there a motion? And a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
So at this time, we will close our public meeting and enter into a closed meeting. Thank you.